Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Mindful Monday. If it's your first time here, feel free to write anything you want to, such as where you're coming from, if you have any questions, if you have a topic for the future in the comments. Whether you're watching this live or the recording, we will see that and we will get back to you if necessary. You can also DM me if you have something private you want to share or ask. If you type mindful in the comments, that will give you a link which will put you on our PDF cheat sheet, which is simply a newsletter that goes out every Sunday at 6:45 p.m. It has a PDF of the points we cover in today's presentation, or the Monday presentation. So today we are here to talk about how to use hypnosis, self-hypnosis, NLP to be a confident and calm public speaker. So if public speaking is something that puts the fear into your mind and gives you the shakes or makes you sick to your stomach, you are not alone. It is one of the top fears. I do a lot of research on fears and phobias. It's one of my passions. And people are terrified of public speaking. It is not even my favorite thing to do, although I have gotten used to doing it. But I even get a little bit nervous before doing these, and it's a little thing amongst friends. That being said, there are some things that we can do to kind of quell the nerves, particularly because most of us are going to either want to or have to do some form of public speaking at some point in our lives. So a couple of things that are not so hypnotic but are just good points to cover is, in advance, you want to really make sure that you've prepared your talking points. If you're using a PowerPoint, which can take away from all the eyes being focused on you and give you a little bit of calmness there, make sure that you're not relying on your PowerPoint in case something goes awry, and you don't want to be reading your slides. You want to know the content, so you're not reading them verbatim, because that can be boring to the audience as well. You also want to focus on your message and how it's going to help your audience or other people. And of course, you do want to practice a few times in advance. This will kind of relax you and give you the confidence you need and help you to find your timing and any other little things that need to be tweaked out. Another thing that's really great to remember, and a lot of people that say that their main thing that they remember to calm themselves down is that your audience is really rooting for you. No one wants to see you mess up or flub up or have an uncomfortable moment in any kind of presentation. And another thing that I like to remember is that I am a human being. We're all human beings, and we present to a group of human beings. So things do happen. I've had some interesting things happen to me. I do this hypnocrafting, that is hypnosis with arts and crafts, and at one presentation, people glued their fingers together, and I didn't have anything to help them out of that. So I just had to laugh and make a joke out of it. Another presentation that I did online, I thought I was playing a video, and I did not check with my audience. So the audio to the video played, and not the actual video. So everyone was still staring at me. Fortunately, I was staring at the video. I wasn't doing anything crazy or anything. Could you imagine if I was like, doing something crazy there? But it was a learning point. So it's just nice to kind of be able to learn and grow from these things. And you want to remember, like I said, if something does go awry, that you can't take yourself that seriously. Things happen. You need to be flexible, not take yourself so seriously, and just laugh about it. If you said something or did something, you say, well, that's not exactly what I meant to say or do, and just be open and light about it. If you tense up and get all nervous and upset, then the audience is going to feel that energy, and it does become awkward. Something you can do if you get stuck is you can ask the audience a question. If you kind of forget a talking point or something, you can be like, oh, so does anyone have any questions, as you gather your thoughts, but you also have to pay attention to the questions that do arise. Now, if someone asks a question that you don't have the answer to, a great thing to say is, that's a great question, and thank you for asking. I do not know or have the answer right now, and I will find out and get back to you. And another thing you want to do is really, when you're preparing, is you want to put yourself in the audience's shoes, and that ensures that you're engaging. So you don't want to open up with, hi, I'm so-and-so, unless you have to. You kind of want to have a slamming opening kind of statement or a joke, not something corny, something that goes pretty well kind of thing. Something that's different, like a hook or a catch that's exciting. Now, when it comes to the NLP and hypnotic techniques that we can use, something that I like to do is I like to anchor any positive things. So I certainly didn't anchor the sticking together of the fingers or, missing the video, but the good times I've had while speaking, I've anchored those in. I do that with a hand position. I tend to touch my middle fingers to my thumbs. I take 3 deep breaths, I name the feeling, and on my exhales I'll say that. So that's what we call anchoring. The phrase or word you say is called a trigger phrase. That's an NLP technique. So if you haven't spoken and you want to anchor, you can anchor into positive times while you're practicing. You could also anchor into things that excite you about your topic when you're researching or preparing. And we'll get more into that in a moment. But we can also do something called role modeling, which can be very useful. And that's kind of choosing someone that you look up to who presents very well or is an expert on the topic that you are covering. And then you'll kind of drop down inside your mind and imagine what it would be like to be this person presenting, how they'd be speaking, how they'd be standing, how they'd prepare, what they'd say, what they might be thinking in their mind, and really kind of get in touch with that. And then we have another technique called mental rehearsal. And I really like to do this at night because whatever we focus on right before we go to sleep, our subconscious mind is going to work on. So you kind of are just, if it's at night, you're kind of closing your eyes and you're kind of envisioning or imagining in your own mind yourself doing your presentation or your speech and it going fantastic. And then you can anchor into that, even though it hasn't really happened, you have that sense in your mind and your body. And so that's a lovely, lovely way if you haven't had the experience before, and it's great to do the night before, because the day of your presentation, you really don't want to be stressing yourself out per se. Now, right before speaking or presenting, some things that you can do is to take 3 deep belly breaths. When we breathe into our belly, it's that rest and digest. If we're doing the shallow breathing, that's our fight or flight center in the chest. So I like to take 3 or 4 or 5 deep breaths. And on each exhale, I kind of think or say in my own mind, relax now, or you can say you've got this, but something encouraging to yourself, basically. If you have an anchor, like I said, you can fire your anchor, say your trigger phrase, or any kind of mantra that is calming or meaningful to you right before you go out there. And if you find yourself in your own mind or out loud saying, I'm nervous, I'm anxious kind of thing, you want to nip that in the butt right away and change that into I'm excited, because the neurotransmitters that we're releasing, whether we're anxious, nervous, or excited, are all the same. But what we say in our own minds can really set us up for success or be kind of self-defeating. So changing that I'm nervous, I'm anxious into I'm excited, and using that excitement to engage and to be with your audience and just have fun is a great technique for that. Now, of course, if you feel that your fear of public speaking is really deep-seated or it comes from a traumatic event in the past, then you might want to do some private kind of hypnotherapy or NLP work where you might be using different processes to get to the root cause of that. We all have certain, nervousness or fears about, what could go wrong in public speaking. That's normal. But if you feel it's more than that, then you might be doing some private kind of work where you might do some parts, regression, breath work, or kind of a combination NLP kind of technique to get to the bottom of that, to get you out of the past and to move you into being a more confident public speaker. And we actually will be doing a breathwork workshop here outside next weekend if anybody is interested in that. I always like to say that. So I thought for today, another thing that I forget, because I don't do it well when I'm here with you guys, is you can kind of slow down and take some deep breaths, and that kind of helps you to not put those filler words like or kind of stuff in there, as well as to gather your thoughts and to be, when I'm packing 25 minutes into 15 minutes of this, I tend to not take those deep breaths because I'm kind of rushing. So the last thing we're going to do here today is I'm going to kind of guide you through a hypnotic meditation. So if you're driving, really doing anything that requires your focused attention, please don't close your eyes and do this with us now. Come back to it and try it out at a different time. If, however, you're watching and it's a time where you can take a little break and kind of drop within, then I'll invite you to follow along. And at some point, I am going to invite you to fire an anchor. So if you have a hand anchor, you can use that. If not, you can touch your middle fingers to your thumbs like this. And you'll also be naming a feeling right before we do that, just to let you know what we're going to do. All right, so when you're ready, you can close your eyes down. I'd like you to imagine, think about, sense or feel as if you just walked into a beautiful museum. And I'm not sure, maybe it's one you've been to before, or perhaps it's one you're creating in your mind right now. Maybe it's a combination, both real and remembered or imagined. But just take a moment and take your time and see what you see here. Notice the walls, any paintings, statues, or sculptures. Notice the floors and what they're made out of, and the ceiling, any sources of light. You might hear any sounds that are there, and perhaps there's a sound of footsteps, or maybe you even bring in some nice music of your own, or there could be the sound of a fountain. And feel how you feel, walking strong and confident, feeling good about yourself, enjoying looking at the different types of art. Now, as things become even brighter and more clear and maybe more colorful, imagine that you walk into a room that represents this self-actualization, success in every aspect of life, an integrated life of life mastery, public speaking confidently. As you walk into this room, you're going to notice that there are life-size pictures in there. They're 6 or 7 feet tall, these pictures. And inside of these are your role models, others who are worthy and deserving of being in this room. And those who are self-actualized, who are amazing public speakers, they're self-realized, successful, prosperous, and loving every aspect of their life because they have unfolded into their fullness, like a fully bloomed flower or a caterpillar manifesting fully into a butterfly. So take your time to get a sense of these great beings in this room. And you know who your role models are, so sense them filling this room up now. Their confidence, their success, their prosperity. And notice how there's no conflict within them. They're fully integrated with who they are. Their insides match their outsides beautifully. Now as you look around this room, you'll sense these role models surround a central pedestal, a space in the center where there is a picture frame. And so stand before this large frame and notice the canvas is totally clear. Yet as you stand before it, you'll start to notice an image of you as worthy and deserving of being in this room. And there you are, you're standing there with your high self-esteem body language. You see yourself spiritually illuminated, mentally and emotionally clear. Your mind is clear, your heart is open and clear, and you're filled with this peace, calm, and confidence. You see your body up there, and you're standing with that self-esteem, and you're radiant and you're glowing. You're successful. You're just loving life. Now, instead of just looking at yourself up there, I'd like you to sense all of your role models are showering their energy into you. And your sense of confidence and calm, and their prosperity, their self-esteem. It's as if the rays of light are pouring into this central image of you. But instead of just looking at yourself as an observer, I'd like you to go ahead and step up into this image as if you become the you up there. That's right. Now take a breath and breathe into what it's like to fully associate with this image of being calm and confident and successful as a public speaker, feeling empowered, having a purpose. You know that you're on the right path, you're confident, you're connected, you're feeling peaceful and secure, sharing your message, welcoming in an abundance of resources here, and loving this way of fulfilling your purpose and just loving it. Now, as you step into that, I'm going to count from 1 to 10. Every number is going to amplify these feelings within you. So feel these feelings and breathe into all of this goodness. So number 1, being this person in the museum. 2, infused with the energy of your role models pouring into you from all directions. On 3, all of that light glowing even brighter inside you. 4 and 5, sense it intensifying. 6, 7, as if you're lighting up inside a whole new life beginning right now. 8, it's getting even stronger. 9, and when you're ready, on number 10, go ahead and name this feeling in your mind. Name it with a word, a phrase, an image, a sound, or a song, but naming it in a way that is right for you. If you have a hand anchor, you'll fire your own. If not, touch your middle fingers to your thumbs. Take a nice big breath in. On your exhale, think or say your word or phrase. Good. And again, another big breath in, fingers touching. Exhale to your word or phrase. And one more time, another big breath in, fingers touch. Exhale, think or say your word or phrase. That's right. And just relaxing your fingers, relaxing your breath. And sensing how this all lights you up inside. You know what happens when you do this, and notice how it's gotten stronger, stronger. And from now on, anytime you touch your fingers together in this way, take a breath in, exhale, and think or say your word or phrase, all of these feelings will come rushing back to you just as strongly and just as powerfully as you're feeling them right now. And not because I said so, but because this is a resource state that you have created using hypnosis and NLP with your beautiful subconscious mind. And so if you're not back yet, then taking another nice big breath and slowly blinking the eyes open, coming all the way back, feeling calm and confident and ready to get out there and share your message. So thanks for watching Mindful Monday, and make it a great one. Take care.